The Lady in Black has had her way in past Speed Racing Network seasons, separating the good drivers from the great ones. Tonight, the track dubbed as Too Tough to Tame will have 90 laps with the Speed Racing Network Fiverr Truck Series drivers in proper attire, donning their throwback liveries to impress the lady in their dance between victory and despair. I am Emerson Nard, and my colleague Will Tiller is alongside myself in the virtual booth this evening. We are excited to be bringing you live coverage from the virtual Darlington, South Carolina, here on the iRacing.com motorsport simulations platform. And Will, the cream rose to the top last time out in Milwaukee, and these drivers, they're not done yet with these challenging tracks. Darlington is right up there in terms of a track that can test a driver's ability and discipline.
Oh, absolutely. We're coming off the heels of Dalton McKinney's big win at Milwaukee in what was a caution fest-filled race. Here tonight, though, the Lady in Black can either be your best friend or your worst enemy. It's a track that everybody loves to race, but it could be a tough night, Emerson, for these drivers. We'll wait and see who can take that checkered flag.
Absolutely, and we have the luxury now of having an SDK provided points graphic, so we'll be able to take a great look at the championship standings coming into today's race. And there they are on your screen. 5 races complete. We're on into week 60 of the points right before we get started with racing action tonight at the track that's too tough to tame. Matthew Greathouse is atop those point standings. He's got 7 points over James Jackson, Radke, Willie Babb, Andrew Harris there, the top 5. Jacob Zala was the point leader before Milwaukee. He did not make it to the show in Milwaukee, so he is essentially that full race's worth of points behind, and he's still 7th in the point standings. Remember, Ben Park, he's there in 6th. He got himself a great podium finish. Dalton McKinney, last week's winner, is 9th in the point standings. He's about 82 points back of point leader Matthew Greathouse. What are you kind of taking over with this overhead shot of the point standings through 5 races, Will?
Yeah, I'm looking at, Dalton McKinney. I just mentioned that name in the 46 machine out of threat level Midnight Motorsports. You see what that win does for him. He moves him inside the top 10 of the points. Also looking at the performances of Wally Babb last week was very good. Jeffrey Radke as well. Benjamin Parks up there as well. So a lot of these names just sort of percolating inside the top 10 of the point standings. And with a lot more races to go, I can see some more names starting to rise to the top of this points table.
Absolutely, and that's just a quick look at what these points look like. Of course, we still have drop weeks to factor in, and of course, still 8 more weeks of racing before we talk about who's in and who's out in terms of playoff positioning. But of course, the top 16 drivers, those are the ones we're going to be looking at when it comes to playoff seeding then. Looking at it here, we've got about 3 minutes left in qualifying, so we're going to take this moment to have a quick look at what these drivers are addressing to the track with their virtual trucks, of course, here in the Speed Racing Network Fiverr Truck Series. Will, we're going to get an opportunity here to take a look at some of the throwbacks. Of course, we're throwing it back in time here at Darlington tonight. Mid-South Madness, the first ever iteration of Speed Racing Network. Then we transitioned to SRN, and it was the Speed Racing Network Truck Series, and now we've got Fiverr on board for this season in the Speed Racing Network Fiverr Truck Series. How about it here?
Oh man, look at that awesome paint job there. A throwback to Junior Johnson. This is my personal favorite. This is a throwback to Alan Kwiecki. Actually has an in memory to Alan Kwiecki on that back bumper here. Check out a few more of these here along your screen if you're watching along with us here on the Speed Racing Network. Of course, you gotta throw it back to Richard Petty right there with that old STP paint scheme on that 15 machine. Look at the Moo Cow machine, Emerson. This is a different one, the 23 machine.
Absolutely. How about the Miller Genuine Draft Scheme coming out in full force? I believe that's Jensic donning that 29 machine. How about the Dale Earnhardt scheme, of course, the number 38. We can't forget about the Good Wrench colors. How about this great mix of colors? The blue and the yellow and the red number. A lot of contrast here. Can't wait to see that on the track. And of course, the silverback truck. I believe this is Matthew Greathouse's machine there in that 51 machine. And there's the 77 there. Look at that. Jasper Engines and US Air machine.
Absolutely. Looking at a few more of these on the screen. You see the 97 throwing it back to that UPS paint scheme from Dale Jarrett. You look at that. You're going to go straight out of the Hall of Fame with that one throwback to that number 28. Man, I cannot wait to see these paint schemes on the track in this throwback week here at the Lady in Black.
So I want to apologize. I know Jensic doesn't race in this series. That slipped my mind. Just 29 and Jensic kind of run together in my mind when I talk about SRN, but that was James Jackson then in the number 29 machine. But anyway, that is what just some of these drivers are bringing to the track. Of course, if a driver just didn't submit their throwback livery, but they're showing up with it tonight, we'll take note of it when we take a look at what these drivers bring to the grid now. But just under a minute left here in qualifying. I think we get a moment here to take a brief look at the timing sheet, and it's Jeffrey Radke then atop the timing sheet, Corey Stahl, Jacob Zala then the top 3. Looks like Ben Park and James Green the top 5. Just a little look at what's going on out there on the qualifying charts. Drivers yet to take time. You take a look at drivers like Sean Griffith and Jason Tripp. By the way, those two responsible for the first iteration of Speed Racing Network in Mid-South Madness, and they ran Speed Racing Network course all the way up through the conclusion of season 4 before Jonathan Byer brought his crew to kind of revamp things here. So a huge shout out to Sean Griffith and Jason Tripp. Of course, they're a big reason that we've made it this far with SRN. Joe Ruggles, Jeff Vickery, Adam Schaefer, and Derek Da Silva, also drivers yet to take time in qualifying. So qualifying has come to a conclusion for tonight's race. So that means we are now ever so closer to getting to racing action here at Darlington. I think it's a perfect time now to head on down to the starting grid, and we'll bring it on up on your screens. And here we go. There it is. On the front row, then it is Jeffrey Radke and Corey Stahl. There it is. Jacob Zala, Ben Park, Jason Green, Matthew Greathouse, the top 6. Michael Madden and Michael Lepicki, 7th and 8th. Rounding out the top 10 in row number 5, Dalton McKinney and Nathan Nixon. Will the next 10.
Yeah, checking it out. James Jackson in that 29 machine will roll off 11th. Jason Kratke will roll off 12th. Blair Hulleman will roll off 13th. Sean Cochran in that 43 machine, 14th. Daniel Dow, 15th here tonight. Sean Kaiser in that 97 will roll off 16th. Nicholas Lawrence, 17th for him here tonight. Troy Techmeyer will roll off 18th. David Mayberry will roll off 19th. And rounding out our top 20 is Brett Gunn.
21st, it'll be Daniel Park in that 7 machine coming off that podium last week in Milwaukee. Walter Lepicki out of Tank Racing as well will start 22nd. Wally Babb, 23rd, and Andrew Harris, 24th. Row 13 will be consisting of Jeffrey Vickery and Joe Ruggles. Adam Schaefer and Jason Tripp make up row 14. And shotgun on the field will be Sean Griffith and Derek Da Silva out of our 30 truck field, ready to do battle tonight here at the Lady in Black. And it is time, Will. We have done all the introductions. We have set the stage for this show this evening. We are now just about 30 seconds away from VIRacing.com safety vehicle leading this field on their single formation lap around this 1.36 mile egg-shaped oval. And all the more giddy, all the more excited to see what's about to take place here tonight at Darlington. And where we're going to get it started early, the pace car is often rolling on their formation lap.
Yeah, I'm excited to see here tonight, Emerson. You know, we have 90 laps here at the Lady in Black. You know, is it going to be like last week where these guys really came out of the gate? A lot of cautions flags flew in that race, or is it going to be more a calm, cool, and collected start to this race? I'm excited to see the drop of the green flag.
Absolutely. Radke, Corey Stahl, of course, those top 2 there. Is Zal, oh my goodness, Zal almost making contact with Ben Park on the pace lap. I think that's another thing these drivers are going to be realizing tonight here is that, yeah, there's 3, maybe 2.5 lanes there of space for 2 lanes worth of trucks. You only have about that half lane of space in between the 2 trucks to keep it on that racing surface. You know, running side by side here is going to be very difficult. Track position is going to be at a premium. And so here we go as the field comes off of turn number 4. VIRacing.com safety vehicle will find its safety in the pit lane. The field then in the hands of Jeffrey Radke in the 3. And we are racing from Darlington. One truck around on the back straightaway, and the caution is going to come out. The first caution of the evening then. And it was James Jackson in that number 29 machine, the one that went around. There he is in that Miller Genuine Draft throwback. I'll try to get a look at what happened then to the 29 machine. This is off of turn number 2 where these trucks get very, very tight and you come off the corner and, well, he did the opposite. He caught the apron there off the corner, went for a lazy slide, just a nudge into the inside wall, and that was it then for James Jackson. We get one more look at this one on board, the 29 machine. Go a little slower here. You can kind of see just where, you know, that left side of the truck is running on that seam, on that dashed white line that separates the racing surface from the flat part of the track. And he just gets a little too much underneath it, trying to make that truck rotate really early as well. You can hit it a little bit on corner exit, but that was really early there in the exit of the corner. And the truck weight shifts and, well, he eventually loses control of it. And so our first caution of the day comes out before the first lap is even complete. James Jackson then at the rear of the field. Dan Park has come into the pit lane and he is topped off on fuel in that 7 machine. While we have a moment, we're going to go ahead and step aside and get a quick message from Butt Kicker and others here from the Speed Racing Network. To the sim here in virtual Darlington, South Carolina. The field in the hands then of the 3 of Jeffrey Radke, and racing once again from Darlington. And the first lap of racing under green flag conditions complete. Nathan Nixon has an issue off of turn number 4. He has lost a lot of spots in that 38 machine, and there is some left front damage.
Yeah, unfortunately, Emerson, for these guys rocking these throwback paint schemes here tonight, it seems luck is not on their side here at the Lady in Black. We just saw James Johnson with that 29 machine, a throwback to Rusty Wallace, have issues bringing out our first caution of the night, as well as that 38 machine here tonight of Nathan Nixon throwing it back to the GOAT, if I have to say it there, Dale Earnhardt. He's having some issues early on in this race, but what I noticed, though, Emerson, Jacob Zala is thinking about some inside passes here on Radke 7 laps in.
What I have to admit is Jacob Zala, I've known him for a long time. He does have some pace beneath him. He just tends to really be aggressive here at the beginning parts of the run to put himself in that track position, and he'll really, you know, try to fend off what he's got later on. Here, if he can really hone in here and maybe, you know, save a little bit here in the beginning and think of more of a long run in the instance that this race turns into a long run race, I think Zala might have a lot of pace. He has won here at Darlington before in the trucks, so Zala does have some momentum in his favor.
Yeah, what a win this would be. It'd probably catapult him to the top of that points table here in the Fiverr Truck Series. Right now in that second spot, just a few points behind, though, with a huge win here at Darlington. That would put him at the top. Right now, it's still Radke leading the way in that 3 machine as we come off of the corner scene. Oh, he makes contact with the outside wall off of 2 Emerson. A little bit of damage to the right side of the 3.
Just a little bit of a kiss, and what we call here is the Darlington stripe. Nothing to be too alarmed about, but Zala trying to take advantage of that. Find a little bit of tight racing back here off of turn number 4. We've got Ben Park, Sean Corcoran, and Danny Dow going at it. This for the 9th position into turn 1, side by side, and around goes the 43.
Oh no, that'll bring out our second caution of the night. The 43 machine of Cochran is gonna get spun there. Emerson, and it just looks like the same thing we had bring out our first caution of the night. You get loose in the corner, and he was running in a tight pack there. You really have nowhere to go if you get loose.
And unfortunately, well, I guess unfortunately for Sean, but we caught most of that live. So we won't need to go into too in-depth of an analysis there, but it was Corcoran. He got to the inside there. He caught a little too much of the inside banking transition there between the racing surface and the apron. And he slid back up in the park, and Dow had nowhere to go. Got him spun around. Then Vaten of Holloman came on through, and he tagged the 8 of Nicholas Lawrence. I mean, we're talking about a 5-truck incident at this point, and he's still spinning around. He'll tag the 32 there of Techmeyer, make it a 6-truck incident. I mean, massive incident if you think in terms of truck count this early.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's going to be some damage to a few of those trucks. I think some of those trucks might be okay here the rest of the go. Of course, we have that stage break at lap 25. And also saw some more throwback paint schemes involved in that one, Emerson. These are beautiful paint schemes that we saw to start off. Now it's a little bit of racing stripes on them.
Absolutely. And once again, there actually Park does not get involved, but you'll see it here. Everyone else not so fortunate. Dow, of course, there collects the 43, and the 10 sends him around. The 8 nowhere to go, just in the tire tracks at the 10. And it was on from there. Oh, man. Back to live action. There is the 43 of Sean Corcoran heading down to pit lane. Takers into the pit lane include Walt Lepicki, Matthew Greathouse, and point leader Ben Park, Sean Griffith, Nathan Nixon, Nicholas Lawrence, Joe Ruggles. Derek De Silva is in the pit lane, and he's been there for a while. A lot of damage to that 5 machine of Derek De Silva. It'll be intriguing to try to figure out what happened to Derek then. Of course, you saw it there in our commercial cutaway there that we do have a membership now on our YouTube page. You can take a look at it there. Some of our perks that this membership includes, of course, here at the Speed Racing Network, well over 700 subscribers. Want to thank you all for tuning in and subscribing and liking. Of course, if you haven't already, please do. Here's some of the perks you can get with that program: loyalty badges and custom emojis, exclusive wallpapers, early access to new content, of course, membership shoutouts, members only live chat, and you can get all of that and more for $5. So there's your incentive then to try and join our membership program here at the Speed Racing Network YouTube channel. Of course, again, if you haven't already, please do jump in and subscribe here to the Speed Racing Network YouTube channel. We do have aspirations, and if you're here enjoying the racing action as it is, you might as well subscribe. You keep coming back.
Absolutely, and big things are coming here at the Speed Racing Network. We have full fields every single race here. Tonight we had 30 drivers take on the Lady in Black, and what a cool thing to offer the folks at home, Emerson, a chance to be a VIP member, if you will, of the Speed Racing Network, have our members only chat. You know, you get to know some of these drivers a bit more as well, so what a cool thing to offer the folks at home.
Absolutely. And Jonathan Byer and his crew will continue to work to bring out as much perks to that membership program as they can, and they will make your $5 worth it. So please do check it out. And once again, if you're sticking around for the racing content anyways, you scroll down, you see that that subscribe button is still bright red. Well, go and hit that and make it gray. And so the field of Speed Racing Network Fiverr Truck Series vehicles now working their second caution period of the evening. It's Jeffrey Radke, Jacob Zala, Jason Green, Michael Madden, and Corey Stallven. The top 5 doubled up and getting ready to get back to that racing action here at the Lady in Black. And we are, when we restart here, 11 laps away from that stage break. And so the iRacing.com safety vehicle finds its safety in the pit lane. The field then in the hands of the 3 of Jeffrey Radke, and racing once again from Darlington. And we got another truck around. That is Dan Parks sideways. He hangs on to that machine. And we have a side-by-side battle for second. Jason Green and Jacob Zala still dueling it out. Off of turn number 4, Zala's got the run. Green trying to keep that nose down to the inside. How aggressive would they be into one? Zala powers by around the outside.
Yeah, Green in that 55 wants that second spot from Jacob Zala. In that first bit of racing we had there, Zala was able to maintain his pace with Radke. Right now he's under fire for that second spot. Go down the field just a little bit more. We are single file into 1 and 2, but you can tell, Emerson, these guys want those stage points as we come off the corner. All these drivers looking to the inside.
Absolutely. Out in front vote, it is Jeffrey Radke, and we've had an incident, our third caution of the evening, as Nicholas Lawrence has gone around up in turn number 4. So our third caution of the evening, and Derek Silva, big time damage in that one. This is the second incident Derek has been in. We did not see what happened to Derek the first time, but unfortunately that one is big time damage. 4 of a 5, and try to take a look and see what happened then to the 8 of Lawrence and the 5 of De Silva. Here we get an overhead view here. The 2 heading into turn number 3. Unfortunately, De Silva turned in a little too early there. Big time damage for both of them.
Yeah, and it looks like De Silva was already probably struggling with a little bit of damage on that truck. He tries to get the truck to go down the track, tries to get it to turn, just not moving on him on the entry of the corner. We'll watch it here again. And you see the 8's right on that middle line. He thinks he's safe with the 5 up to his outside there. And you just see he's just trying to get that truck to move down the track. And by the time he does, Emerson, it's already too late.
Yeah, big time impact and incident there for these 2 trucks. Unfortunately, both of them had already had, some damage. De Silva had some big damage, and Lawrence had some damage in that previous caution where it was Sean Corcoran was the one spinning around, and we'll just get one more view of it. And these 2 coming together in turn number 3 here. This one at racing speed. Looked like an awkward entry for the 8 of Lawrence, right? And De Silva already off the pace a little bit. Just a bad timing for both of them, really.
Absolutely, and I think that's one of the most difficult aspects of this track, Emerson. There's no bottom line, there's no white line or yellow line to try to get those tires to come down. So most of these drivers are rocking in that middle lane, almost that high side of the corner. That makes it extremely difficult because you're trying to maintain that line, but then you got guys around you. If you pack up going to the corners, you're gonna have incidents like that. If you get just a little bit loose on the exit of the corner as well, it's so tough here at Darlington.
Absolutely, and I'd imagine it's also starting to get tough for the drivers here at the front of the field, and Radke and Zola and Green and Stahl and Madden. These guys, they continue restart after restart. How many more times do they have to restart before they even get to, the predetermined caution that's awaiting them at the end of lap 25? If you're one of the drivers, maybe other than Jeffrey Radke, who has been able to nail these restarts, everyone else has been, really fighting it out tooth and nail lap after lap, and instead of a green flag run to get these drivers a little more spread out, these drivers are having to work for most of the time with, I guess, somewhat welcomed breaks with the pace car coming out and slowing down the field. But I imagine the restarts are not anything that these drivers are wishing to go through over and over again.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one of the things that is standing out to me was on that restart, Jeffrey Radke just launched on that restart, was able to separate from Jacob Zala, who owns the fastest lap so far in this race with a 29.5. If Radke can get the same restart here, Emerson, he might be able to lock down that stage win.
Absolutely. And take a look at Jeffrey Radke and his virtual driver focusing hard then on what's ahead, and a look behind. If they're coming around, this will be the one to green under this caution, the third caution of the day, what would be our fourth double file start of the evening, with the initial start and then the 3 restarts. You'd have to imagine that when that stage caution comes around, I don't know if many people are going to be pitting. If we're talking about maybe only running 8 green flag laps on these tires.
Yeah, it's a game some of these drivers will have to contend with here at the end of the stage. I'm thinking maybe if you go through the stage and maybe some green flag pit stops down the road if we don't get any more cautions, Emerson. I'm excited for this restart, that's for sure.
Absolutely. And so the 3 of Jeffrey Radke is our race leader. He's got Jacob Zala then to his outside, Green and Stahl, Madden, and Mike Lepicki, who won at Las Vegas earlier this season. Lepicki trying to get his second win of the season. Zala ended up winning at Sonoma, trying to get his second on the season. Danny Dowen 7th, Blair Holloman 8th, Jason Kratke 9th, and Sean Kozier restarting in 10th. Looks like we have 28 drivers on the lead lap, and both De Silva and Lawrence look like they have made their early exits out of the event. And so the iRacing.com safety vehicle will find its safety in the pit lane and racing once again from Darlington. 4 laps left in the first stage. Another green flag lap complete, and Jeffrey Radke has a 2.5 advantage over Jacob Zala and Jason Green with 3 laps to go in stage number 1. Can Radke keep this pace up and try to hang on for a stage victory? Oh, he'll pop the wall off at turn number 2, and he'll now have to try to contend with an aggressive Zala right behind.
Yeah, Zala's going to look to the inside here into 1 and 2. He's going to file right back just a little bit. Jeffrey Radke is rocking with that Dale Jr. line very close to the outside wall. We're going to make it 2 to go here in stage number 1.
2 laps, then 2.5 miles. Now here between Radke and Zala as they roar their way through the center of 1 and 2. Off out to number 2. Radke much calmer up off the corner. Zala's going to have to press the issue here if he wants this stage victory. Into turns 3 and 4 for the penultimate time in stage 1, and Zala peeks it down to the inside.
Jacob Zala wants this spot from Jeffrey Radke, keeps looking to the inside, just can't get the momentum to carry him out of the corner as we go into 1 and 2. Jeffrey Radke's been very fast here in stage number 1 as he takes the field off corner number 2.
Off of turn 2 for the final time in stage 1, and maybe one last hurrah for Zala. He's going to peek it down to the inside. They're going to be side by side through turns 3 and 4. And this is going to be a battle up off the corner out of turn number 4. Jeffrey Radke is going to clear Zala, and Jeffrey Radke is going to win stage 1 here at Darlington.
Ooh, that's any indication of what we're going to see the rest of the way here, Emerson, I cannot wait. You saw Zala was taking his time to try to get around Jeffrey Radke. He might have found that window of opportunity. Watch out here in the rest of this race.
Absolutely. And Jeffrey Radke, teammates in with last week's winner, Dalton McKinney at Fret Level Midnight Motorsports. A great run then for the 3 of Jeffrey Radke. And now it is time for the crew chiefs to sign. This is our 4th caution of the day for what it's worth on lap number 27. But this was the predetermined caution. If you had a strategy centered around this stage caution, do you still pull that strategy off is going to be the question here. And as the pace car will pick up stage 1 winner, Jeffrey Radke, will let these drivers pit first, and then we'll get our chance to speak with Radke. And Radke has turned that truck down to the inside. He's coming in. Zala in green. And I guess the good thing for these drivers with all these cautions is less attempts then at this very treacherous pit entry under green flag conditions.
Yeah, and you think about the window that we just ran right there, about 27, 28 laps. You're going to probably pace it again to about lap 60, 62, maybe if we can get there. You know, then you're going to look at more pit stops towards the end of this race with probably about 10 laps to go if these drivers want to stretch that window a little bit. So this is going to come down to either green flag pit stops or late race caution strategy decisions for this race.
Now what you're noticing here is a lot of drivers who pitted under those caution periods have stayed out here, and this race off the pit lane is going to be, well, it looks like Radke's going to be 6. So 5 drivers are going to be out in front of Jeffrey Radke. Radke wins that race cleanly off the pit lane. Zala and Jason Green, and well, that has been settled. We're going to take the opportunity to speak with our stage 1 winner. We're going to bring him on up here into the broadcast booth, and it is driver of the number 3 then, Jeffrey Radke. And Jeff, it was a very caution-filled stage, to say the least. You had to contend with many restarts there. What was the I guess the fire off speed on that 3 machine like?
Not too bad. I knew I was going to pit at the stage, so tires really weren't an issue as far as preserving, so I really didn't want to give him the chance to get any kind of position on me. There towards the end of the run, they were kind of fading. He was getting better speed through 1 and 2, but I was still able to keep the high side through 3 and 4 and keep the momentum up. So we'll see what the rest of this race holds.
Now we're about to be 1/3 of the way through racing action here at Darlington. You've already gone through now your 4th caution period of the day. I know you've got restarts down packed, but this time you're not on that front row. You're back in, well, you're scored in 5th right now. So how are you going to be able to contend for restart and then dirty air?
Hopefully all the wrecks still stay behind me. These guys look like they're on 10 plus older lap tires. I mean, they might have been saving them back there waiting for this, but if we can get single filed out, I feel like I should be able to pick them off 1 by 1 and get back up there.
But it is a very confident Jeff Radke here at Darlington, the stage 1 winner. Jeff, congratulations on the stage victory, and best luck to you the rest of the way.
Thanks.
And there it is, driver of the number 3 out of Fret Level Midnight Motorsports, Jeffrey Radke. And looks like one of those drivers, I believe it was Jackson stayed out. So somebody came down the pit lane. I believe it was then Vickery in the 77, who since pitted a lap later. And there's Jeffrey Vickery in the 77. So I'd imagine now it's just 2 rows of trucks on old tires in front of Jeffrey Radke. But what that means is we've got some names up here. We'll look at it. We've got last season's champion Ben Park. We've got the point leader Matthew Greathouse. We've got last week's winner Dalton McKinney in 3rd, and James Jackson, if I'm not mistaken, he was the one who finished 4th last week.
And if you do remember also, James Jackson was the driver that brought out our first caution of the night. As they always say, Emerson, you get knocked down, you get up again. Now he's inside the top 5.
So a lot of great stories here, now having to contend with our pole sitter of Jeffrey Radke. And the point leader coming into middle, Milwaukee Mile, and the Sonoma race winner there, Jacob Zala, in 6th. A lot of great names are going to be contending for this race lead up here as the iRacing.com. Safety vehicle makes that hard left-handed turn into the safety pit lane. Stage number 2 will be started with the 13 truck of Benjamin Park, and we're racing once again from the Lady in Black. A calm, cool, and collected start by the field. It's Ben Park out in front, and Danny Dow has had an incident off of turn number 4. He has gone around, and Dow has taken that toe to the pit lane, and the caution is going to come out. And we've had another wreck. Zola involved. Jacob Zola with damage in turn number 2 as the caution has already come out.
I see Green involved as well, Emerson.
Jason
there.
Green.
That looked like a mix-up with some top 10 drivers, and there's some drivers that just headed down pit road. Man, this is quite a caution flag we have here. Maybe they weren't aware that the caution flag flew just yet. That's craziness here. Our 5th caution of the night.
We also had Adam Schaefer, David Mayberry involved in this one. Many drivers involved. Here's Schaefer and Mayberry. I mean, we're talking about maybe 3 different incidents under this caution period. This is a lot to unpack, and we only have a short time to do it. So we'll look first at what caused the initial caution, then of Danny Dow in the 2 Machine Racing, the 22, that Las Vegas winner of Mike Lepicki. And Dow, he just gets loose up on the high side. Maybe may have been a little hard to see, but Dow came off of turn number 4, and the truck was very light. We'll get one more look at it then. And Dow in that 2 truck company outside, a white and dark blue machine. Yeah, he just gets sideways up there. No contact with anyone else.
Yeah, and that's tough for the 2. I think maybe he was trying to get on the gas just a little bit too early.
My goodness.
This is the big one, Emerson.
Yeah, Zala and, oh my goodness, the 15 big time impact to the outside wall, and I'd have to say, unfortunately, it looked like a little bit of aggression on Zala's part. I do want to back it up, though, give him the benefit of the doubt, get the full incident. We're going to come to that one a little late, Ven. But I do want to see the entirety of that coming together, Ven, and we'll see it here. Zala, just a couple trucks up in front. Coming off of turn 4, he is cleared by Jason Green, the 33, Ven, of I believe that's Corey Stahl, tried to get to the inside. Zala had a great run, and he peaked, but at that point, you learn at Darlington, if you're not there to the inside, you have to back off. Darlington is a single-lane racetrack. It is very difficult coming into turn 1 like that. That's where you feel like it narrows up the most as everyone turns in. Maybe a little bit of an ill-advised send there for the 25 machine. But there's more to unpack from this incident. We had another incident back here. This is the 3rd incident of this caution. And Adam Schaefer, way down on the racetrack, just came back up. Oh my goodness. Holloman and Kosher, and oh my goodness, big time incident.
And you got to think, Emerson, both of these happened as the caution flag was coming on the racetrack. We have Daniel Dow in that 2. He gets loose by himself, really no damage to anything but himself. And then we watch these 2 other incidences. We have about 4 trucks involved in this one, 5 trucks involved in the other one. You see it right here. He tries to go low and then tries to get back up the racetrack there. And it's just going to pile up a couple more of those throwback paint schemes. It's just going to be a hex on those here tonight, Emerson. We've seen multiple throwback paint schemes involved in accidents here tonight.
And I want to get the entirety of Adam Schaefer's incident as well in that 21 machine. And this one comes off of turn 4. There's Dow backing up in front. And then this packs up those 5 trucks in front of Schaefer, and oh, maybe a little bit of net code of contact between him and the 97 of Kosher. Comes back up, collects Holloman, Kosher, and I believe that's a 12 of Mayberry, the 91 a Trip. Oh my goodness.
It sort of looks like to me, Emerson, the 21 thought maybe that he could just form in line. He understood he was going into the corner very low after making that slingshot move. Going low in the corner like that, trying to ease up the track. There's other 3 or 4 trucks up there. We're going to see the incident now between Jacob Zala and Josh Green there. And Emerson, this is just a crazy caution. We have 3 separate incidences that happened under this caution flag.
Yeah, as the caution was coming out, and oh my goodness, the 15 there took a big hit there and really had nothing to do with that. And that was Michael Madden involved in that one. But just the aggression. I mean, you think these drivers have sat under cautions now 4 full caution periods tonight, now working our 5th. These drivers are getting a little anxious under these restarts. They're thinking their opportunity to make passes are few and far between now, and I think you're seeing that as the iRacing.com safety vehicle makes that hard left-hand turn into the safety of pit lane. The field now in the hands of the 13 of Benjamin Park. He's got Dalton McKinney in second, and green flag is back in here. We're racing once again from Darlington. So Ben Park heads him down into turn number 3, and he's got a 2/10 of a second advantage over McKinney, Greathouse, Radke, and James Jackson. Ben, that is your top 5 as they work their way off of turn number 4.
And don't look now, here comes Jeffrey Radke in that 3 machine. You just saw what that new equipment can do, put some new feathers on those Goodyear Eagles, and right now Ben Park's doing a great job holding down that penthouse position on old equipment. Last time he headed down pit road was on lap 11. He's holding off last week's winner, Dalton McKinney, as we come off corner number 4.
Yeah, great caliber of drivers up here at the front of this field, and it's being put on display early here. You see here, this is on board the 3 of Jeffrey Radke. Looking at that number 46 then of Dalton McKinney. Down the back straightaway. Closing up, but when you have that run and nowhere to go, all you can do then, Will, is lift and try it again the next time. Oh, big time run for the 3.
Huge run off of corner number 4. Jeffrey Radke wants that spot back. He's going to think to the inside of Park here into the corner. You know, he'll fade back up to the top side of the racetrack, but he has got that number 13 in his sights as we go down the backstretch here in the lady in black. He is about to take that penthouse position back, but we see another battle brewing up into 3 and 4.
How about Jacob Zala involved in that last caution? Gets by the 7 of Dan Park. Park now trying to clear up in front of Troy Techmeyer. Not able to do so easily. Park does clear up in front of Techmeyer, holding on to that 10th position. It looked like Techmeyer was actually going to have a look back down to the inside of Park. Did not make that move, but we see now Jeffrey Radke past the 46, and now it's going to be Park and Radke here with 50 laps to go from Darlington.
Absolutely, as the Park brothers bookend our top 10, we have Ben Park at the top of the grid. We also have Daniel Park right now inside the top 10 in that 7 machine. He's up 11 spots from the drop of the green flag. But Emerson, I'm also checking out the 87 of Andrew Harris, our biggest mover so far, up 20 spots from the drop of that green flag.
Oh, somebody just pops the wall off of there off of turn number 4. I hope that wasn't Andrew Harris you were just talking about. There is some right side damage, but one of these 3, either Harris, McKinney, or Greathouse, popped it off of turn 2.
Yeah, Harris is still kind of keeping that maintained, but we have a battle for the lead going into the corner right
we go.
now. We have a new race leader. Jeffrey Radke will get around Ben Park and take that penthouse position as we're off the corner.
So Radke clears to the race lead. He's got clean air again. Jacob Zala is mired back in traffic and has damage. Here comes Andrew Harris on Ben Park. Harris powers through by the 13 machine, and Andrew Harris is up to second. Remember, Andrew Harris, well, actually, I don't think we mentioned it on the broadcast, but he had to start at the rear of the field with his incidents last week. And he has been able to make it back through the field.
You're watching right now, though, Jeffrey Radke still leading the way in that 3 machine. A throwback to Junior Johnson's paint scheme here and a throwback week of the Fiverr Truck Series. And this is where he was at the majority of tonight's race. Emerson threw those caution flags, through those pit stops. He wasted no time to get back up here to the lead. He looks to be locked in here tonight as he takes the field off of 2.
And out of field opening up, this is what a lot of these drivers were hoping for now. And the battles, unfortunately, with the, oh, we got a moment here. Jason Tripp up in front of Nathan Nixon. Everyone's going to be packed up here entering turn number 3. Tripp in that 91 machine trying to hold off the 38 of Nixon. The crossover. Nathan Nixon down to the inside. Nixon gets the spot. Nixon up to 14. Now Holloman and Tripp go at it into turn number 1. Holloman gets on through now. Here comes Corcoran in the 43 machine.
Yeah, Corcoran's trying to rebound from being involved in one of those cautions here tonight, trying to move up the grid. Right now he's in that 17th spot, right behind Jason Tripp. But this is a hornet's nest of drivers right here. A lot of big movers in this race. They're trying to keep the pace of our race leader. Again, that 43 is Sean Cochran's going to think to the inside here on the straight. We'll jump back up to our race leader right there, and you see he's just itching for that position, Emerson.
Absolutely, battles all over the place, and Corcoran was not able to get past the 91 machine. Okay, coming off of turn 4, he'll have another go at it there with Jason Tripp. Out in front, Radke did stabilize his gap at 0.8 of a second. Harris not making huge indents yet on the 3 machine, but we'll let some age get on these tires. These drivers, unfortunately, were kind of trained into very quick fire short runs. Here we got a battle here. This is Matthew Greathouse and Corey Stahl for the 4th position. Stahl on the inside. He'll clear by the 51.
Little Olay right there's the 33 is just gonna breeze right by Matthew Greathouse, our points leader. And if I remember correctly, Corey Stahl had a great race last week, just wasn't able to get that finish that he would really enjoy. But the caution flag is out once again, our 6th caution of the night.
Adam Schaefer facing the incorrect direction off of turn number 4, and gonna get one of those wall burnouts going. Back it up off the racing surface, and he'll get it corrected. Adam Schaefer in trouble here for the 6th stoppage in action tonight. And we'll catch this one a little late, but it looks like contacted there with the 54 of Kratky. They come together off of turn number 4. And I'd like to see more to that story, if we can. And here we go. This is entering turn number 3. Kratky up high, Schaefer down low, and contacted at the beginning of the corner. Contacted at the center of the corner. And fenders were used.
Very close to those 2 other trucks coming up on that, and you see he's trying to get that thing in reverse. I'll watch it here once again, and it's just the same thing we've sort of seen all night here. It's very tight. All the drivers are trying to get up to that high point line here in the corners, and it just gets a little bit crowded, if you will. Emerson at the top side lane, that's where you see a little bit of that contact, and unfortunately for that 21 machine, he's going to have to roll to the back of the pack with some heavy damage on that truck.
Absolutely, and well, here we go. Pit stops underway. Everyone is getting a fresh set then of Goodyear Eagles. They think they can make it to the end, and it's Jeffrey Radke down and away. Harris second, then Park, Stahl, McKinney, James Jackson, Jacob Zala, Matthew Greathouse, Daniel Park, and Wally Babb. The top 10 as we are now on the other side of halfway here at Darlington. Don't you go anywhere. We got a quick message then from Butt Kicker. Don't go anywhere. Welcome, race fans, back to the virtual Darlington Raceway in virtual Darlington, South Carolina. Working our 6th caution period of the evening tonight, and we are working lap number 52 with 38 laps to go. It is Jeffrey Radke out in front, Andrew Harris, Ben Park, Corey Stahl, and Dalton McKinney. Then the top 5.
Looking past that top 5, we have James Jackson. We saw him in that 29 machine. Our points leader, Matthew Greathouse, Jacob Zala right there, Wally Babb, and Daniel Park will round out our top 10 here on this restart. And I'm looking at the likes of Andrew Harrison at 87, also Ben Park in that 13. He's back up in the mix here. Remember, he had that old equipment. He held down the lead for a few laps. Curious to see how he does on there on this restart.
Absolutely. Fresh tires for everyone who's got the pace to duel it out at number 37 laps. The iRacing.com safety vehicle is in the safety of pit lane. The field's in the hand of Radke, racing from the track. Too tough to tame. Truck hard into the inside wall. Oh my goodness. Jason Green pounds down the inside wall on that 55 machine. He'll keep going, no caution, but my goodness, that left side is torn up.
Yeah, Green not having the best night here. He's been involved in a couple of cautions, though. Caution flag.
Oh, Zala's in trouble.
There it is.
Zala going around on the back straightaway. His second incident. More crashing. Joe Ruggles and more involved. Wally Babb involved in this one. Oh no. Nicholas Lawrence involved. Goodness gracious, man. Well, let's try to decipher what happened here, Will. Looking now at the 25.
Yeah, I was just talking about James Jackson right there, and you see
Oh.
Zala. Unfortunately, he's going to come off the corner by himself. He's going to get very, very loose. If we could jump on board with him there, I'm sure he tried to oversteer it just a little bit. And when you get the wiggles coming off the corner and you see other trucks coming up behind you, it's very hard to maintain control.
Yeah, we'll get a look at it here. This is on board the 25 then of Zala. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Excellent analysis, Will.
Yeah, and that's just very, very hard. For Jacob Zoll, one of the most talented drivers we have in the field, currently second in those point standings. You get loose, you just try to adjust it just a little bit, and that truck just whips from underneath you, and the other truck's coming to his top side, so you try to wiggle it a little bit, get it back straight, and unfortunately, just a little bit of touch on those fenders will send that truck flying.
And so Joe Ruggles slows down. He's contacted from the rear with the 88 of with the A truck of Nicholas Lawrence under caution. Oh my goodness. I was wondering what happened with the rest of this incident. Wally Babb also had an incident here in the 99. He was the truck involved, I guess, with Zola, and oh my goodness. Oh, Babb not able to steer right up the racing surface. You see that mark, that burnout mark from Wally Babb. That truck went straight up the racetrack, and he didn't have a choice.
Very unfortunate here tonight. A lot of these guys are inside the top 10, just trying to move up the grid a bit. You see that again,
man,
Jacob
there's that
Zola's
damage.
incident. Yeah, that's heavy there for 25.
And Babb, right front suspension damage. Not able to steer. I mean, he probably was trying, and he went right up to the Visit Myrtle Beach sign up there.
Not the Myrtle Beach you want to visit right
Nope.
up there, Emerson. Not on that top side wall. But, in these caution flags, you take the good with the bad. You look at the likes of Jeffrey Vickery, who's now inside the top 10. Nathan Nixon from those early race troubles, he's now inside the top 10. Right on board with Jacob Zola again here. That's just very, very tough here at Darlington, especially what we've seen off the corners here. Drivers getting loose by themselves. Just a very tough race here tonight. And again, our leader, Jeffrey Radke, has to deal with that start and go, sort of what we dealt with last week, Emerson.
Yeah, at Milwaukee, we did get a green flag run at the beginning of the race. It was at the end of the race. By the way, Milwaukee was not supposed to be that race length. I feel like maybe then the race might have been done a little differently, but everyone took it easy in the first 50, 60 laps or so after the stage break, and then it was the last 50 laps were caution filled. This one, unfortunately, we haven't had too much of a break since the drop of the green flag. We had a brief, looked like maybe 8 or 10 lap run, and well, that was it. The pace car driver getting their laps logged in tonight. So we'll do a little reset here. It is driver of the number 3, Jeffrey Radke, our stage 1 winner. Leading in front of Andrew Harris, Corey Stahl, Ben Park, the top 2 rows, McKenney and Jackson, Dan Park, Jeffrey Vickery, Nathan Nixon, and Troy Techmeyer. And we're getting more and more big names involved in these incidents. Will, you saw Michael Madden and Zola involved, some of the fast guys tonight in trouble. It's going to start shaking up this running order up here.
Absolutely, but I talked about it early on in this race. Jeffrey Radke on these restarts is excellent. Watch it here as he takes the drop of the green flag.
BadIRacing.com, see if vehicle needs some more fuel. Head on down to the pit lane and fill up that tank once again. Radke leads us back to green. Oh, big incident in turn 1. Truck hard on the outside wall. I believe that's Mayberry. And it is David Mayberry in trouble. Try to get a look at what happened here with David Mayberry. That 12 machine. We'll just watch it from the restart. Might as well. It's a 12 Mayberry. He's got Kozier to his outside up in front of him. Looks like it's Corcoran and Cracky. Walt Lipicki and Great House behind him. Into turn 1. Comes on up, and there's a truck to his outside there.
Yeah,
That's
Emerson, I
unfortunate.
just gotta give a shout out to Denzel Washington there because that looks like deja vu. Or if you want to go the Bill Murray route, that's Groundhog's Day. We've seen that incident happen a few times here tonight where a driver on the inside lane doesn't come up the racetrack, just not knowing there's a truck up there, and just gets the worst of that, gets put into that topside wall, and that's really nobody's fault there. You're just trying to erase her position, come back up the racetrack, and as that slightest contact made, as I said, you clip that fender, and that truck's gonna get sideways.
Not a whole lot anyone could have done in that move. Take a look at it here. This one on board the 97 of Sean Kozier. Gonna get up to the gears, and I think he's gonna try to fill in behind the 12, but no, he actually runs up high and they just come together. It's very tight racing on a one-lane racetrack on a restart, and I don't know, man. It's getting tough out here for the drivers and us alike.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a survival of the fittest in this race. But one thing that I have to mention after this caution flag, our 8th caution of the night here in the Fiverr Truck Series, everything that's happened, the stop and go, the caution flags, the pit stops that we've seen, nothing's changed at the top of the grid, though. Jeffrey Radke is still holding it down in that spot. He raced back up there through those pit stops, through the old equipment the other drivers had. He's back up there, has Andrew Harris, who's up 22 spots from the drop of the green flag. He's still holding it down through all of this start and stop, and I think it's just because of those restarts, Emerson. We've seen him here tonight get excellent jumps on those restarts. He really can separate from that 87. If he can continue this on throughout tonight's race with 28 laps to go, we might be able to get that W.
Absolutely. Restarts are key here. And they've been key tonight, especially just in general. That's where you make up your most positioning. And if you're able to get clear out in front of the field, it's going to be really hard to make those overtakes. But tonight, Radke's has had to have been stellar on these restarts to maintain that top spot. Looks like the inside line is benefiting very well then for the 3 machine. He continues to select that inside, but also, as the tires do get older and you put more heat cycles on them, where you heat them up and you cool them back down, and you heat them up and you cool them back down. You get later into this race, right? If you have some late race restarts, it's going to be really difficult to restart on those older tires, and it'll be then who has the best throttle control as you work your way up from pace speed, which is 60 miles an hour, all the way back up to racing speed. That will be a key to watch for later in the evening. As lights are off on the safety vehicle, we're going to try his start procedure for the 9th time this evening. Radke and Harris, Stahl, McKinney, Park Jackson, Park Vickery, Nixon, and Techmeyer to the top 10.
Techmeyer in that 32. And one thing I'm watching out for here as well, Emerson, if we can get this thing in a green flag run, we'll also have to deal with those pit stops. And I'll ask the folks that are watching along with us here on the Speed Racing Network, when do you think those pit stops will happen? We're creeping up towards that window. I'm looking at around 10, maybe 8 laps to go. You're going to start pushing on that window if these drivers want to gamble.
Well, if we keep having these cautions, we may be able to go on this set of tires and fuel. So that may be another thing that's going through these drivers' heads. I guess we'll just have to wait and see and watch these drivers play it by ear, because no one is really sure how this one is going to conclude here in Darlington. And so VIRacing.com safety vehicle will once again try to get that tank full of fuel down in that safety of pit lane, and the field in the hands of Jeffrey Radke once again. Racing action from Palladium Black once again. And a challenge for the race lead. Andrew Harris powers by on the inside, and Radke caught napping. Andrew Harris has taken control of this race in a truck down to the inside. They hold on to it, and Andrew Harris holds on to the lead.
Yeah, Andrew Harris been very fast in that Bell South machine's been waiting for that opportunity. And just as I mentioned, Emerson, that was a bad restart for Jeffrey Radke. Left that door open for the 87 Andrew Harris to take that penthouse position as we come off of corner number 2. Now you're starting to see that battle now percolate once again off of corner number 2. Jeffrey Radke is on that back bumper into 3 and 4. He'll look to the inside here soon, but right now still falling on that back bumper. And don't watch out now, mama. Here comes that man, Dalton McKinney, and that 46 is trying to go back-to-back here in the Fiverr Truck Series.
We're right on board with Jeffrey Radke as he looks forward at the 87 of Andrew Harris. And remember, very little has this 3 truck been in dirty air tonight, and now he's gonna have to try to duel it out here. He's got a great run on Andrew Harris. Here he goes.
Inching that nose to the door, the 87 of Andrew Harris. He'll come back up the racetrack here in the 3 and 4. He'll keep it clean, though, as we're drawn force, drag racing down the front stretch. Jeffrey Radke will maintain that position on the inside of Andrew Harris as Dalton McKinney, that 46, has a courtside seat. He almost gets into the back bumper. The 3 of Jeffrey Radke, as now the 87 of Andrew Harris is separating down the backstretch.
Great defense then from Andrew Harris. He fought the huge run that Radke brought into turns 3 and 4. He powered by back around the outside in 1 and 2, opened a gap. And then, yeah, you're right, McKinney almost through the tailgate of the 3 truck. And now 22 laps to go. Radke, does he have what's left in that 3 machine to do it all again and chase down that 87 machine? We'll have to wait and see. He's opened the gap back up to McKinney. Now it's still stagnant at a 5.5 tenths of a second deficit to the 87 machine.
And if we keep racing like this, Emerson, we will have green flag pit stops at the end. It's just when will it happen? Jeffrey Radke in that 3 is trying to catch the draft coming off the 87 of Andrew Harris. Dalton McKinney's right there. What I'm seeing in this race, Emerson, coming off the corner is the Nokia Snake game line. We have everybody single file down the backstretch.
You're right, everyone has singled it out here at Darlington. Everyone trying to mind their P's and Q's and trying to bring it to the end. This the battle for the 8th position inside the top 10. Dan Park, Troy Techmeyer dueling it out. They were close. Off of turn 2, Park has since legged it. And this one here, James Jackson and Ben Park for the 5th position.
Hats off to these guys here, really scraping it out here tonight. Have early incidences, as you see, as looks like Park will go to the inside of Jackson in that 29. Park is trying to get up the grid, as you see contact right there. Man, this is a hornet's nest of drivers coming off of corner number 4. This is to stay inside the top 10.
Yeah, Ben Park goes forward, Dan Park goes down 1 spot each. Techmeyer gets by Dan, and Ben gets by James Jackson. We've got a truck slow on the inside. That's Mayberry rejoining the racing action. Back out in front, the lead is still stagnant at nearly 0.6 of a second, and Harris pops the wall.
Andrew Harris kisses the outside wall here at the Lady in Black. He's still moving. He is still grooving into corners 1 and 2. You see Jeffrey Radke's right there as well. Now that lead has shrunk as we're coming off the corner. The 3 machine wants to catch him down the backstretch. Dalton McKinney's there as well. We'll see if this battle can heat up with 18 laps to go.
Out in front, Harris, Radke, McKinney, Stahl, and Ben Park, the top 5. And battling here between Vickery and Techmeyer.
Yeah, Vickery in that 77's having one heck of a race as well. He's up 18 spots from the drop of the green flag. He just ran a 29.9 last time by a 30.5 actually for the 77.
Uh-oh, here we go.
Yeah, Hornets nest of drivers into the corner, Emerson. This is getting wild. Almost 3 wide at Darlington.
Park wanted to take it 3 wide, fought better of it, but now he's under attack. Holloman tags the wall. Holloman in trouble. Greathouse trying to find a way by, and Corcoran will get a spot up inside the top 10 as a result. Mavi Greathouse in the 51 machine trying to find out his way past the 10 of Blair Holloman. A couple veterans here in SRN going at it for 11th.
Yeah, with 16 laps to go, these drivers know that this is the money time, if you will. It's time to scrape out that top 10 finish if you can. You've gone through some adversity in this race, as we see right there. There's some damage to the 10 machine of Holloman. All these drivers have probably been caught up in those cautions we've had here tonight. They're trying to make lemonade out of lemons into 1 and 2. And you're seeing that's a pretty clean 51 machine. And Matthew Greathouse just not having the best race so far, as you see some drivers slowing on the inside down the backstretch.
Yeah, more drivers rejoining the racing action from pit lane after getting massive repairs to their machines. Out in front, Andrew Harris has now opened up a 7/10 of a second advantage over Jeffrey Radke. Radke caught a little bit by Dalton McKinney. And here we go, battling now. Greathouse around Corcoran, and Greathouse into the top 10.
Matthew Greathouse is trying to get a top 5 finish here tonight. Just cracked inside the top 10. He's got Park in that 7 in his sights. Meanwhile, back up at the lead, Andrew Harris is making that gap even further, now almost up to a second between him and Andrew Harris in that 87. Andrew has to think right now, if he can just keep this momentum, keep these lines going, he can lock it down. No small mistakes as we come down the front stretch here at the Lady in Black. We're going to make it 12 laps to go.
As you say that, Will, looks like Radke gained about a 10th on Andrew Harris last lap, and so Radke maybe some newfound momentum to try to close that gap down. Now, once again, the lap times favor Andrew Harris by about 7/100ths. A 30.99 for the 87 to 31.06. Then for the 3, and battling going on here. Greathouse by Dan Park. Greathouse up another spot.
Yeah, Greathouse is now trying to... Goodness, that was very, very close off the corner. That's Jeffrey Vickery battling out with the 32 machine. That's actually the 29 of James Jackson, who's quietly crept back up the grid as well. Oh my goodness, this is very tight off the front stretch. Jeffrey Vickery is trying to knock that position down into 1 and 2.
Brilliant defense then, maybe accidental, maybe it was intentional, but James Jackson holds that position, and into the wall goes the 29. Here comes the 32, trying to get a 2-for-1 special. He'll claim that coupon, and it works. Techmeyer up to 6th. Here comes Vickery now up the track, and James Jackson wants the spot back. Matthew Greathouse wants a 3-piece.
Troy Techmeyer said, y'all boys can battle it out. I'm just going to go right on by you two. As now you see Matthew Greathouse in that 51's trying to get around the 77 of Jeffrey Vickery. Meanwhile, you see Techmeyer.
Oh, contact!
Contact off the corner on the back stretch. No caution, though, as they keep it moving straight here at Darlington. That's going to shake it up, though, as you see the 7 of Park will get around Jackson, that 29. Oh, my goodness, Emerson. We have quite the battle inside the top 10.
Things fired up. Dan Park there probably gained about 4 spots in the span of the back straightaway. Dan Park up to 7th, and Jackson 8th. Nixon 9th, and Greathouse in top 10.
And you see right there on the scoring. Oh my goodness, this is just crazy inside the top 10. And you see your scoring to the left-hand side of your screen if you're watching along with us here on the Speed Racing Network. Andrew Harris now almost has a second lead on Jeffrey Radke, almost 3 seconds on Dalton McKinney in that 46 machine. But this battle rages on to stay inside the top 10.
So Greathouse by Jackson. Greathouse to 9th, Nathan Nixon in 8th. Everything up ahead has smoothed out. Nixon trying to get by Dan Park, trying to look to the outside. Park gives him the lane into turn 3. Nixon powers by.
And you saw that great move there. Just got the nose right on the fender. And you're going to jump back to another battle. This is to stay inside the top 10. Oh, my goodness. You see Jackson, he comes down the racetrack there to let Cochran know in that 43. Hey, I'm still here. I'm not giving up this top 10 position just yet. As you see, the 43 of Cochran's going to simmer down just a little bit. With 7 laps to go, this is the time to best that position. As you see, another battle. Matthew Greathouse to the inside of the 7 apart.
Great House back into it. He's gotten by Vasevina Park. Now Corcoran and Jackson still going at it. This off of turn 4. Jackson holds 10 for now.
Cochran wants to get a top 10 in that 43. Keeps looking to the inside, but Jackson's doing a great job of holding it down. They say offense scores points, defense wins championships, and he's playing the best defense he can down the backstretch, trying to keep that 43 at bay. But here comes a 43 of Cochran. He is going to olay by the 29 of Jackson. He touches the top side wall. Oh my goodness, maybe a little bit too much steam on those Goodyear Eagles.
Oh, he sent it down into turns 3 and 4, but Corcoran holds that spot now inside the top 10. And now leaving the closest fight back here for 11th between James Jackson and Jeffrey Vickery. So they go to battle down the back straightaway. Vickery and a truck struggling with grip behind them. And that's Kratky in trouble. And the 54 machine trying to hang on to that truck. Jason Green behind. This is for the 14th position.
You see both those trucks have those racing stripes on the side of them. Both guys probably wish their nights were probably a little bit better, especially Green, who had a great run last week at the Milwaukee Mile. Meanwhile, back up at the top of the grid, Andrew Harris is going to make it 3 laps to go. Throw up those 3s. Rest in peace to Dale Earnhardt, because boy, that 87 machine is fast here tonight off corner number 2.
3 laps now, 2.5 to go. As Andrew Harris catches up to the Cal machine, he'll power right on by and put that driver a lap off the pace. Now 2 laps to go for Andrew Harris, and what's been, I mean, we gotta say it, an amazing run to the field. He had to start from the back because of his actions last week at Milwaukee. He got not 1 but 2 strikes because of incidents last week at Milwaukee, and the 87 has made up for him. So yeah, 87 had to start from the rear of Andrew Harris because of the incident back on lap 42 at Milwaukee. Now coming off of turn 4, 1 lap to go from Darlington, trying to complete the last to first challenge.
In the words of Ricky Bobby, if you're not first, you're last. Andrew Harris went from last to first in this race. Now has a 2.5 lead over Jeffrey Radke down the backstretch. Andrew Harris looks to be coasting, and looks like he'll lock in, taming the lady in black here tonight.
He lost about a second over the last 2 laps due to lap traffic, but off of turn number 4, from last to first, it'll be Andrew Harris taming the lady in black. Jeffrey Radke second, McKinney third, Stahl, Ben Park the top 5, Nixon, Techmeyer, Great House, Dan Park, and Sean Corcoran the top 10.
What a run out of the 87 machine of Andrew Harris. That Bell South machine's going to look great in victory lane. I would say probably one of the only drivers with a throwback paint scheme here tonight that didn't get cursed by the lady in black. Boy, he put in a lot of work here tonight. We thought Jeffrey Radke in that 3 had the fastest truck. That's until we saw the 87 start to creep up that grid. Got up to the 3 of Jeffrey Radke, passed him very, very clean and crisp. And once he got in that clean air, he was gone here tonight.
Andrew Harris out of Phoenix Virtual Racing has put on a show tonight in that number 87 machine. And with that, he picks up, I'm trying to double check, but I believe that's his first win on the season, and it is. 2 top 5s and 3 top 10s to this point of the season before tonight. And so Andrew Harris, the driver, sitting down in EPI victory lane, and he'll light them up. The rear tires on that 87 machine. Again, Andrew Harris had to start from the rear because of actions last week. He did not let that stop him tonight. By the way, when he got to the lead, it looked like that 87 truck was clean. So despite all the chaos last week centered around the 87 machine and his multiple run into drivers tonight, it was a very clean run through the field. And to victory here tonight at Darlington. We'll go ahead then and bring on up our race winner, driver of the number 87, Andrew Harris. And Andrew, how about that one? From the back to the front, it was all you, man. You got it done.
Yeah, for sure. This is my favorite track by far. It's been a couple seasons since we came here, but my one of my two wins in SRN actually came from this track, and so I was so excited to see this one back on the schedule.
Absolutely, and it seemed like it suited you. Well, because of your penalty, we weren't really mentioning the 87 machine in that first stage because of all the cautions, and it was Radke out in front, but you came to life once you got that track position in stage number 2, and that 87 pretty much drove forward past the 3 truck and it was off and away. What was the pace like in that 87 machine? And also, it looked pretty clean working the way through the field. How was the run up through?
Well, as a wise man once said, started from the bottom, and now we're here. um, No, it wasn't necessarily a fully clean race. I did tag the wall a couple times, but I mean, it is what it is here at the Lady of Black. Darlington's kind of known for that. So it wasn't the cleanest race. I did have to, unfortunately, I think I got into somebody early in the race, just a little bit faster than the people back in the back. But like I said, it wasn't a super clean late race, but I love where I ended up. And yeah, penalty to win. I'll take it.
Now, what does that say about the 87 machine? I think that in the fashion you got your first win on the season will speak a lot about what momentum you can bring the rest of the season. But what say you?
I think with this win and in system, it's really nice to get that one off, out of the way, get the win out of the way. Let's focus on some playoff points. Um, I'm just gonna try to focus on getting those and obviously trying to finish, as far forward as I can. But playing it safe, knowing that I already got the playoff win and in situation taken care of. But yeah.
Well, there it is. Your race winner from the track dubbed as Too Tough to Tame. It was Andrew Harris, the one to tame it tonight. Congratulations, Andrew, and the whole group at Phoenix Virtual Racing on the victory. Best luck to you next time out at Charlotte, man.
Yeah, absolutely. First off, I got to thank Silverback Tax Solution and Death by Fudge. Without those guys, we wouldn't be here. So appreciate you guys. Love you guys.
Absolutely. And there it is, the driver of the number 87, then our race winner. And there's always two sides to it, but tonight it was all Andrew Harris. He pulled away a good margin over the 3 of Jeffrey Radke. He's sitting by with our Will Tiller.
Yeah, catching up with the 3 machine of Jeffrey Radke. He was rocking that Junior Johnson throwback paint scheme. And Jeffrey, you're probably one of the fastest trucks, let's say, for about 75%, 80% of tonight's race. Into that 87, Andrew Harris came up there and caught you at the lead. Take us through this race here tonight. A lot of stop and go, but on those restarts, you were really locking it down.
Yeah, I was focused on the restarts mainly, just trying to get out, get clean position. If we were side by side, the guy in second definitely wasn't going to lift to give it to you, and it's just chaos going too wide through there. So just making sure I was clean was the main thing. I think we reached a point I got a run on Andrew there going down into 1, and I felt like I had to stick it in there just to try and get the position. It was a bad spot to do it, and once it gave him the positioning on me, there was nothing really I could do. Just burn my tires off trying to catch him.
Yeah, and let's talk about that, the end of the race there, because everybody headed down pit road at around lap 50. You looked like an immovable object there at the top of the grid. You're doing a great job separating. You were throwing blocks left and right. What do you think may have been the opportunity that allowed the 87 to go by?
Just being on cold tires, I think. Every time I'd gotten into 1 on cold tires, I didn't really have anybody there, and just trying. He went for it. I don't blame him for it. I would have done it too. It was his shot to really get any positioning on me, was to get to my inside there or outside and hold it. But Yeah, it's just a tough track. I mean, I like long green flag runs, getting a nice rhythm, but with all the cautions, it makes it tough to really accomplish that.
Absolutely. And still a podium here tonight. Jeff, I can sort of hear the disappointment in your voice, but we head to Charlotte next week. Are you thinking maybe back to back podiums or putting this three machine in victory lane?
I'm shooting for victory lane. Charlotte's a favorite of mine, home track as well. So we're gonna shoot for definitely bringing home a win.
And Jeffrey, before we let you go, of course, this is throwback night in the Fiverr Truck Series. We see your Junior Johnson throwback scheme. Kind of take us through why you picked that scheme, as well as thank any of those sponsors. Anybody you'd like to shout out here tonight?
I chose it because it matched my number. I was a big Junior Johnson fan growing up, and just nothing screams throwback like Junior Johnson at Darlington. So that's why I chose him. I'd like to thank my wife. She lets me do it every week. You guys for putting on a great broadcast. I love going back and watching it, reviewing where I can get better. All the guys over at Threat Level Midnight. It's fun having them in my ear every week. They have good suggestions. We help each other get better. And the guys for putting on the league. He's love doing it every week.
Absolutely appreciate you taking the time with us here. Jeffrey Radke, the driver of the number 3 machine, comes home second here tonight. I believe, Emerson, you are catching up with last week's winner, Dalton McKinney, in that 46, who did a great job moving up through the grid. He finished his 6 spots to the good at the drop of the green flag. Take it away, Emerson.
Driver of the number 46, Dalton McKinney, last week's winner. He'll back that up with a podium tonight. Dalton, Fret Level Motorsports as a whole, put on a great performance tonight. And you in that 46 machine, 2 back-to-back podiums in a row. Pretty good run so far for you and your team.
Yeah, we're thrilled. Obviously we wish we could have been one spot better. Congrats to Andrew, but glad we could be second, third, and fourth. And that was a lot of fun racing with teammates. It's always enjoyable. And I was kind of looking at the schedule as I was waiting for the interview. And Milwaukee and Darlington, that was 2 tracks I had kind of circled as a struggle for me that I really wasn't looking forward to. I no experience at really either track, so to win last week and to run third this week, I'm pretty ecstatic with that.
Well, Don, some great runs, and at tracks you didn't have a lot of confidence in. You made a large leap, of course, with last week's win, uh, moving you up to 9th in the point standings. This should certainly get you another boost in your favor. Great runs, the momentum building for this 46 machine and Fret Level Midnight Motorsports as a whole. What's the plan to keep it moving, to keep it rolling in that direction, and not maybe peak at the wrong time as we're still in the early part of the season?
Yeah, I think I'm up to P8 in points, and I actually missed 2 races, so that's only accumulating points from 4 of 6 races. So once we add our 2 drop weeks in, I think it's really gonna bump me up there even further, and then just keep clicking off good finishes. These top threes, top fives, and then any chance you have to win, just capitalize on it to get them extra points. That's important. There's a couple tracks that I really look forward to. Um, you know, looking forward to the rest of the schedule. Watkins Glen is kind of the only one that makes me nervous. I'm not much of a road racer, but I've been working on it. So hopefully by the time we get there, I'll be excited. But just keep racing hard, and hopefully all my teammates keep running good as well.
Well, Dodden, it's been 2 podiums the last 2 weeks. Next week is Charlotte. How do you feel about your chances there?
Oh, I love mile and a halfs. I had a lot of confidence going into Kansas. I kind of messed up and cost myself a good finish there. So I was really looking forward again to Charlotte after that race because I love mile and a half. So really excited to get there.
Well, there it is, our 3rd place finisher this week, Dalton McKinney, in that 46 machine out of Fret Level Midnight Motorsports. Congratulations on the victory. I'm sorry, and on the podium, and best of luck to you next week at Charlotte.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
And that is our podium finishers for the evening here at the track. That was too tough to tame. It was those 3 really putting on a great performance and showing that they could tame the track. Maybe that is too tough to tame. All in all, it was a great night tonight, and Andrew Harris was the one to lock down the front of the field there at the end of it on that late race restart. He got a lot of pace and a lot of momentum behind that 87 machine. It's time to go through our race results for tonight's race, though, and those will appear up on your screen as we speak. How about it then is the 87 of Andrew Harris, the 3 of Jeffrey Radke. Tom McKinney finishes in 3rd. Corey Stahl 4th. Ben Park 5th. Nathan Nixon 6th. Troy Techmeyer 7th. Matthew Greathouse 8th. Daniel Park 9th. And Sean Corcoran, the top 10. Next 10, Will?
Yeah, you look at the 11th spot at Jeffrey Vickery. Although he finishes outside of the top 10, he's going to finish 14 spots to the good. And 11th, Blair Holman's going to finish 12th. James Jackson at 29, good rebound to work inside the top 15. He's going to finish 13th. Josh Green at 55, same thing there. A lot of caution flags we saw that 55 involved in. He's going to finish 14th here tonight. Jason Kratke in that 54 is going to finish 15th. Jason Tripp in that 91 is going to finish 16th. Walter Lapke is going to finish 17th. Michael Lapke is going to finish 18th. Joe Wriggles Jr. is going to finish 19th. And rounding out our top 20 is Sean Kaiser in that 97.
Great run toward the Lepickies and Ruggles 20th. Sean Kaiser 21st, then Sean Griffith. 22nd will be David Mayberry. They're 1 and 5 laps off the pace, respectively. 23rd, Wally Babb. It'll be an early night for him, 20 laps down. Nicholas Lawrence caught up in a couple incidents, 24th. Jacob Zala has some pace out of that Bird Dog Racing stable. It'll be 25th for the 25. 26th then for the 21 of Schaefer. 27th for Michael Madden. 28th for Danny Dow. 43, 58, and 59 laps off the pace. Brent Gwynn in the 66 machine will finish 61 laps off the pace, and Derek Da Silva then finishes 30th, 81 laps off the pace, caught up in a couple early incidents tonight. Well, I think that's going to do it for us here at Darlington, but Will, any final thoughts before we head on to Charlotte?
Yeah, what's really standing out to me the past couple weeks, I know the folks at home and us in the broadcast booth, we don't enjoy the start and stop races, but I feel like once we do get in those green flag runs, the action picks up, the intensity picks up, and nothing that stands out to me, Emerson, I've seen it the past 2 weeks now. Some of these drivers might be involved in early race cautions, but they do an excellent job of staying in the fight. Some of these drivers finishing inside the top 10, top 15. I am excited for next week's race at Charlotte.
I'd say I am too. I won't be able to make the call next week at Charlotte, Will, but if you are, I'm sure you will do a fantastic job in what the crew that we're able to put together and send on down to the Queen City. But I think that'll do it. Ben from Darlington, I gotta, of course, give a huge shout out to our partners and our social media outlets here at Speed Racing Network. Of course, our partners, the series sponsors, Fiverr, Glitch, and Z-Grills, of course, doing all the heavy lifting each of their respective nights. Admin Box, the starting grid sponsor, and they've been on your screen all night long. That's SRN-BOXX for 10% off of your Admin Box purchases. Of course, we heard a great message from Butt Kicker during those commercial breaks, and of course, EPI, of course, sponsoring Victory Lane, Select Blinds, all of our incident replays for the evening. Of course, don't forget about the Speed Racing Network membership program on the YouTube channel. For $5 a month, for $4.99 a month, get access to loyalty badges and custom emojis, exclusive wallpapers and photos, early access to new content, member shoutouts, and members only live chats, and priority reply to comments. Of course, all that and more is available at our YouTube membership program down below. It's going to be next to that subscribe button. If you haven't subscribed also, and you made it to this point of the broadcast, you might as well subscribe because you stuck all the way through. Make that red button gray and go ahead and think about joining our membership program as well. A shout out to all of our social media outlets here at Speed Racing Network. Our Facebook page, of course, at facebook.com/Speed Racing Network. Our Twitter at twitter.com/Speed Racing Network. Our Instagram at Speed Racing Network. Our YouTube channel, of course, at youtube.com/Speed Racing Network. Our Twitch at Speed Racing Net. Our LinkedIn at linkedin.com/company/Speed Racing Network. And of course, Speed Racing Network, the website, speedracingnetwork.com, is the website where you can, keep up with all your news and points and standing, points and standings are the same, and schedules and all that jazz. All the information you need is sitting there. Then at speedracingnetwork.com. And well, I do think that'll do it then from the Lady in Black. Thank you all for tuning in and joining us for tonight's action, and we hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. For all at Speed Racing Network, Will Tiller and myself, Emerson Arden, up here in the virtual booth this evening, Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow night when the Glitch Truck Series has their dance with the Lady in Black, or next Tuesday night when the Fiverr Truck Series heads to the Queen City with the virtual Charlotte Motor Speedway.